We have infectious diseases expert Dr. Leong Hoe Nam joining us now via Skype. Hi, Doctor. Now, Doctor, let's start off with, what do you make of these new punitive measures to fine or jail those who do not comply with the rules? Are we being too harsh or have Singaporeans been too complacent?
I think those are actually very realistic ground rules which we have to play with from now on. If you think about it, how much effort, how much punitive measures do you want to do to protect your parents, your grandparents? Because truly, they are the ones at risk. Your grandparents at the age of 80, 90 years old, if they were to succumb to COVID-19, they will die. So how much measures will you want to take? So my answer to them is no. The punitive measures recommended by the government is very realistic. It is meant to whip all of us back into shape. When I say whip, I mean to let us realize that people will die if the COVID-19 infection goes on. We all have a part to play, you and me. And if we actually take care to protect ourselves, we're going to take care and protect the person in front of us, someone's parents, someone's grandparents from falling sick. How much value do we put into life, a Singaporean life? And I can tell you, it's a lot. For that measures, for the punitive measures, it is very little compared to the life of a Singaporean.
Now, Doctor, on that note then, are these safe distancing measures enough to manage the coronavirus spread here in Singapore?
I hope it's enough, because the next step is actually to restrict movement of people in and out of the house altogether, as what you're seeing in Malaysia or what you've seen in Wuhan city. In those situations, only one person representing the family or even a village may go out and buy the necessities. If we were to end up in that situation, we're going to have problems in the economy, we're going to even have problems going through the basic essential needs of the whole country. I do not wish to see that. And in honest truth, looking from an infectious disease point of view, we are about this close from that happening. So I beseech all Singaporeans, everyone, including foreigners, please adhere to the strict guidelines recommended. These guidelines exist for one purpose, which is to protect you. If you are protected, the epidemic will be controlled. If you are not going to fall sick, the person next to you won't fall sick. And Singapore can control this epidemic.
Now, Doctor, is there anything else that we can do to, the term flatten the curve of the infection?
I think it actually boils down to responsibilities which you and I have to take. I'm talking about controlling the number of people which we meet. I know of groups who are still trying to keep within the 10 people rule. My answer to them is, can you have just 5 persons rule? Can you take the cut, do it better than what the government says, and cut down to 5 persons, or better still, don't even meet. Make use of the internet, make use of FaceTime, WhatsApp video, Zoom, WebEx, or whatever. Have your social interactions. Stay at home, watch all your movie streaming, binge on them. We do this for a good 14 days, 21 days, or even 30 days. And we can control this epidemic, and life can be a little bit better, a little bit normal. The economy can chug along. We have shops going back to work. We have business going back online, and everyone's economy, their livelihood can continue a bit more. Now, the responsibility now is in our hands, not so much the government's responsibility because the rules are there. Can we play ball and do our part, or do we play the murderer that kills the next person?
Doctor, I just want to focus on the duration. You mentioned a bit about length. Now, let's talk about the efficacy of these measures. How long does it take for these measures to sort of have an effect on managing or controlling the situation?
We need at least 2 to 3 cycles in order to control the infection. We know the incubation period is about 14 days, but most of the virus goes through a replicative cycle in about 5 days. If we do that about at least 3 cycles, which is 15 days or about 2 weeks, we should see the effects falling through. So Singaporeans, hold on to your seats right through these difficult times. for about 2 weeks or maybe up to 3 weeks, and we're going to see a tremendously good effect in controlling the local transmission.
Now, Doctor, I want to move on now to more of a medical question. Is it possible for someone to have had the virus and not realize? Now, I'm asking this because seemingly healthy people, they are surprised that they've been diagnosed with COVID-19. Take, for example, actors like Idris Elba.
Yes, very, very good question. So as we learn from Wuhan, you end up with fever, cough, and it paints a picture that's very severe with bad pneumonia. But if you actually look at the cohort in Singapore, we realize that many of them are mildly symptomatic. In other words, they have just a little bit of cough. They might just have a lack of the smell. They can't smell well, and they read from the internet and they go for testing and they found to have the virus. What it tells us is there's a whole plethora of manifestation of this disease. Some have it very severe to the extent that they can die from it. On the other hand, some people have it very, very mild and they just have a simple cough, a simple scratchy throat, or simply the loss of the sensation, the smell. So this is a whole spectrum, and going forwards, we're going to see more and more of these cases with mild minimally symptomatic patients. What does that mean? These individuals may still transmit, though I suspect that the risk of transmission is very low, but these can still transmit, and we should pay attention to all these cases with the idea of controlling the whole epidemic in totality. Not just one aspect, the severe cases, but all aspects, including the mild cases. What does that mean for you, for the man in the street? If you have a mild cough, please don't go into work, even if it's something that looks like an ordinary cough. But if it's something unusual to you, please stay at home. Don't go in for your meetings. If you feel well in the morning, but in the afternoon you start having a little bit of cough, or you notice that your sense of smell is lost, don't participate in a meeting. Please go home, wear a mask, go straight home and rest. If you need to, go and see a doctor and get further clarification on this illness.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for taking time off to share your valuable inputs with us. And that was infectious diseases expert Dr. Leong Hoe Nam discussing whether the latest safe distancing measures are enough to manage the coronavirus situation here. The multi-ministry